it's Tara and it's time for Sunday Reads. I missed last week's Sunday Reads, so this is going to be 2 weeks altogether. I read 4 books in the last 2 weeks. I read The Fall of Hyperion by Simmons, The Water Knife by Paulo, Bacigalupi, Prudence by Gail, Carriger, and The Computer Connection by Alfred. So The Fall of Hyperion by Simmons was published in 1990, and it is the second in the Hyperion cantos, and it ties everything together into a really satisfying conclusion. I was always a little afraid to reread the series because I loved it when I first read it back in 2009 or 2010, and I was afraid that it wouldn't stand up to a reread, but it did it beautifully. Rachel at Colonnati, who I read this with, did a great review, so I'm going to link that in the description. The next book I read was The Water Knife by Paulo Bacigalupi. This was published like last month. This was one of my top 5 most anticipated books for 2015, and it did not disappoint. I can never remember if I read The Wind-Up Girl or Pump Six and Other Stories, his short story collection, first. But even though I didn't love The Wind-Up Girl, I really liked the atmosphere, and the feeling of it won me over. And Pump Six and Other Stories was also just phenomenal as far as atmosphere and the way he describes things. It very much fit my darker aesthetic. Anyways, ever since then I have been a huge fan, so I guess that I should actually just do a video on him sometime. So yeah, I'll do that. This is set in Southwest US in the near future when deadly droughts have rendered the area uninhabitable. Phoenix is the star of the show, and it is a city transformed. I mean, I've never been there before, but I imagine it's not like it is in the book. It's run by mob bosses and ripped apart by prejudice-induced violence, and it's just not pretty. So Catherine Case is the brains behind the Nevada Water Authority company, and she knows like all the right places to be at all the right times in order to get the water. And in this world, water is power. The main characters are Angel, Case's water knife, aka the guy who does the dirty work; Lucy, the privileged journalist from the north who has adopted and adapted to Phoenix for better or worse; and Maria, the Texan refugee who just wants to get out of it. I gave this book a 4-star rating, and I really enjoyed it. I'll do a separate review and upload it later this week talking about it, because I really did enjoy it, and there's a little more to say about it than I want to say here. The third book was Prudence by Gail, Carriger, which was also published this year, a few months ago, I think. So if you like paranormal and steampunk and you have not read any of Gail Carriger's work, where have you been? You need to get on this train. Pun was unintended, but I like it. So Gail Carriger is best known for her Parasol Protectorate series, and Prudence is the first book in her second spin-off series, The Custard Protocol. It focuses on Prudence, Alexis Macon's, from the Parasol Protectorate, her daughter, who is all grown up and in need of an occupation. Her adoptive rogue vampire father outfits her with a delightful dirigible and gives her a terribly important mission that takes her cross continents into India. The hijinks that ensue are a saucy lioness, reputation-shattering nudity, monkeys, and a bit of risque romance. Unfortunately, this book was not my favorite because it felt a little bit formulaic. It had plenty of the wit and humor that I associate with this world, but it was a little bit bland in the adventure part, I thought. However, it did provide a good setup for following novels in this world, and I will definitely be following. The last book I read, and I actually just finished it like an hour ago, was The Computer Connection by Alfred, which was published in 1975. I am at a loss as to how to explain this one. It's definitely all Bester all the time. It reads, as I mentioned somewhere, like a group of genius eccentrics on a bad trip. The group is a collection of people granted immortality through deadly freak accidents and timely interventions. The main character, Gwig's hobby is finding and recruiting exemplary people into their band, so he finds likely candidates and tortures them in the hopes of converting them. At the start of the novel, he has yet to succeed. His next target is genius Cherokee physicist Sequoia Guess, and then things go really wrong. The AI Extra melds himself to Guess with one goal in mind: to rule the world. I'm going to do another review on this, I hope later this week, so I won't say much here, but I will say that it was really interesting. I think I'm only going to give it 3 stars because it was really freaky and difficult to follow, and kind of gross at times, but like I said, all Bester all the time. And I really do like everything by Bester that I've read. I don't love everything I've read, but I really like his style, even if it is a bit confusing. So we'll see what I can figure out to say later. Anyway, that was my reading weeks. Those were my reading weeks. If you have read any of these, I would love to hear what you thought about them. Or if you have any questions, of course, please let me know. So as for me news, 2 weeks ago I went to Sendai for work, and then I stayed an extra day just to have fun, and that is where I got terribly sunburned, but it was really, really beautiful, and I saw some really neat shrines, and we went on an island, and it was very cool, so I enjoyed that. And then yesterday I went for afternoon tea with my friend, and we got like unlimited tea and snacks, and it was a little expensive, but it was so good. So good. I loved it. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. So I hope you've all had a wonderful week, or a wonderful couple of weeks, and that you are enjoying your weekend. As usual, if there's anything interesting going on, you're reading something cool, or you have a family reunion coming up, or anything you want to tell me, I want to hear it. So please let me know in comments, or on Twitter, or wherever. So I guess until next time.